One of the things that I noticed about Charlotte Motor Speedway that's unique to that particular track is when you last repaved it, you used a particular new innovation that has it's a surface with rubber polymers in it. So it's kind of like rubber on rubber when you put a tire on that racetrack, and the color of the racetrack itself. When you look at other racetracks, I mean, I don't even know what year it was that Charlotte was repaved, but when you look at other racetracks that have been repaved that long ago, and you'll see the surface of the track itself, the shade of the track itself change, lighten up a little bit as it's bleached by the sun and so forth. Charlotte Motor Speedway is as dark as the day it was repaved, in my opinion. Now it's getting bumpier. The drivers do talk about the bumps. That was one thing that your dad always was proud of, the character and the challenge of getting through some of the bumps in the racetrack as they got more severe over the years. But did you do too good a job when you repaved Charlotte Motor Speedway last time?
You know, it's a good question. So actually, let me tell you what we did in Kentucky and Texas. We asked this question to ourselves: why do we, when we pave, why do we do it the way we do it? And why is it, 3 or 4 years down the road before the track comes in and develops what we usually consider better racing? And so what we did in Texas and Kentucky on those repaves over the last few years is we left the top surface of the track rougher, and we didn't put a finish coat on it. So, if you go to a parking lot, an asphalt parking lot, and it's paved, that finish coat is really smooth. And, like if you like skateboarding, you can go and you skateboard on that asphalt and it's super smooth. But if you go to an old parking lot, it's very rough. And that's kind of the way we like a track as well.
Yeah.
So we changed the way we finished off the paving at Kentucky and Texas to try to bring it in more quickly. We used some other chemicals and processes to what we call season the track there, to just run some experiments, because nobody in the paving business paves like we do. I mean, when you think about it, you pave roads, you pave parking lots, and you
want them perfect.
Yeah, the goal is to pave them so you don't have to pave them, for a long time. That's not the goal in racing. The goal is to make it a good racing track, make it competitive. So we've just started thinking about this over the last, I would say, 7 or 8 years. And we've paved 2 tracks in that time, and we have adjusted how we do it. In the next one we pave, we've got a couple of notes on things that we'll do differently. But, I think, again, comparing last night's race, the Xfinity Series, to the 600 on Sunday, I think you got to ask, is it the track?
Yeah.
Because Monday was a great race. Last night, that was fantastic, side by side, 4 or 5 cars under a blanket through the turns. That was fun. Is it the track?
Yeah.
I think it's worth asking.
Well, I mean, how would it be the track? Explain that to me.
Well, I mean, I think a lot of times you wonder, like Dale said, is it paved too perfect? I think typically a new pavement on a track, it's so sticky that the only place to be is the bottom, and that is what you might call too good.
It's got too much grip.
Too much grip, and you just have to be at the bottom because you can stick down there, and it's the fastest way around, and no other way around is going to get you to the front.
Right.
But, Charlotte last night was proved that you can be in the bottom, the middle, the top, and you can carry speed through the turns, down the straightaways, and it was all good. So that I think has to, give us the question of what are we chasing in the competition? What's different about it? I don't know.
Yeah, it's interesting because at most 1.5 miles, the new rules package with the high downforce, low horsepower nets some pretty decent results.
I agree, 100%.
For whatever reason, when we take this package to Charlotte, they don't gel. I wonder if there's any possibility. What if there's any chance that NASCAR or that you would be in conversations or try to encourage NASCAR to look at trying a different package more similar to what the Xfinity guys are running.
Well, I want to give credit to NASCAR for thinking like that, because like this last year's All-Star race, we had elements of this year's Cup package in the All-Star race, and it really did produce some good racing last year. Then we saw at places like Vegas, where the racing was really good. I think we had our best race in Vegas we've had in a long time earlier this year. And that I thought was going to, show dividends at places like Charlotte. We'll see how, when we get to Atlanta, when we get to Texas, is it different? Have the teams caught up? Did they figure some things out with the new package already in the time off? And, I'm sure there was some smart guys working at the shop trying to figure out ways to, beat the system, beat the rules. That's what they're supposed to do.
I mean, for that point alone, and I am super ignorant to this whole process, and I'm learning a lot just from what you guys are saying here. I don't know how it could be the track if, one, it works for one series better than it works for another series, and two, the rules packages are continuously changing and teams are continuously innovating. What is the track really supposed to do to keep an entertaining race through all of when the goalpost keeps moving? Right. Yeah. So I guess that's where I'm ignorant to this thing, but maybe that's why going back to something you said, did I hear you say this correctly? Did I understand it correctly? So you were literally, when you repaved these tracks, the high groove is paved completely different. You didn't even put a finishing coat on the high groove to make it more rough and therefore try to create more grip.
All the pavement at Kentucky and Texas is paved basically without a finishing top coat. So if you went on it, just walk the track after we finish paving it, you would not think that it is you would realize it's not a typical asphalt pavement.
Got
it. It looks different. The size of rocks, and when you pave with asphalt, you use rocks they call it aggregate. It's in the asphalt. And we use bigger rocks to help make bigger pores in the pavement.
And therefore create more tire wear, is that correct?
Yeah, a rougher surface was the goal, and a different surface. I think, when you have those pores, every little edge takes away some of the contact from the tire to the pavement. So that's what we're trying to do, something different.
Yeah, I think it's a great idea. I really got to applaud you guys for even being willing to do that. I mean, if I'm a track owner, I'm going to want to pave my racetrack and I want it to last 100 years. I'm not really sure I'm interested in paving it to last less than that. Or, and so it's a bit of because it's an expensive thing to have to pave your racetrack.
It is, yeah.
It's an interesting dilemma, because you could ask yourself, is it whose job is it to create the best race? Is it the tracks, or is it the sports, or is it the teams? Is it the drivers? Whose job is it? And there's a fiscal obligation in every one of those decisions, and that would be difficult. I see what you're saying.
It comes down to I think it comes down to NASCAR and the promoters to look at the competition. And, we're all in the sports entertainment business. And I know there's a lot of people out there who don't like entertainment. They don't like, they might say, man, that's not pure to the sport. But, if it's not entertaining, we don't have a business. And so it's up to every league, NFL, NBA, baseball. They look at the quality of entertainment that's being produced, and they might adjust the rules from time to time. That's why we have things like the 3-point line. That's why we have things like the shot clock in basketball,
right?
And a whole bunch of other rules. And in NASCAR, the team's job is to win. That is their job. And we can't fault somebody for wanting to win. That's what they should be doing. And then it's incumbent on the rule makers to adjust and to pull back in some areas that need to be pulled back on for the sake of the entertainment value and the competition. Great competition produces great drama and entertainment.
Yeah, I think it's a responsibility, I think, of everybody, the organization, the track builders, owners, the tire company that connects the race car to the road, to be in that conversation, to do what's best to create the best racing.